Welcome to your favorite Tennessee Titans podcast, Tennessee Titans Weekly. Jacques.
Hulk.
Jacques.
Hulk.
What's up, folks? Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? Man,
football's back.
Sure
it's
is.
Back.
It's back. It is back.
If anyone's checking out this Dallas Cowboys and Tampa Bay game, is very, very, very entertaining one. And they're going back and forth too. And this is the best way to start off the season. I love it.
Absolutely.
Hey, I am so geeked to be here on Sunday. I'm giddy, man. I'm giddy. This week has been short, so I've been ready for this week to be over with so we can get on here and get to Sunday.
Yep.
And hey, let's play this game, man. We got them Cardinals coming in.
That's right. That's right.
Woo.
And speaking of the Arizona Cardinals, we have with us special guest Bo Brack. What's going on, Bo?
Jock, man, I'm glad to be here. I love the energy. I got to bring it up a notch. I didn't know it was going to be like that, but now I do, and I'm just getting on board. Let's go.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. So for those that want to check out Bo as well for the Arizona Cardinals, check them out, man, on Locked On AZ Cardinals. You can check them out on Spotify. You can check them out definitely on Apple Podcasts as well on YouTube. So we'll have the links on the video as well. You know, check them out. Subscribe. The show is awesome. He brings the energy. He has the knowledge. He loves the Cardinals just as much as we love the Titans.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And hey, the Locked On Network is dope too, guys. Like you said, if you haven't subscribed, if you haven't even subscribed on the Apple Podcast, do it, man. Do it. Definitely. And Bo, we're glad to have you. Let's talk Titans and Cardinals, baby. Let's do it.
Let's
do it.
Yeah. Let's do it, man. Let's do it. So Bo, Jacques and we've been watching a lot of film on the Arizona Cardinals. I know the season hadn't started yet, but looking at some games from last year, a few little preseason games. Again, can't see a lot from the preseason, but we know a lot about the players, former players like J.J. Watt, DeAndre Hopkins, guys that were in our division. And, now we're playing against them game one. And Arizona is definitely hyped to play just like we are as well, man. So, I think, listening to your show, you have a lot of confidence this year in the Arizona Cardinals. So give us some reasons why you think, man, the Arizona Cardinals can actually beat the Tennessee Titans.
I think it's all about how that Titans defense was reworked this offseason. And then the Arizona Cardinals, if they can come out, and it sounds stupid, it's so simple, is score. And really have that offensive side of the football be their calling card, because they invested in their head coach, Cliff Kingsbury, as an offensive guy. They brought in Kyler Murray, of course, the quarterback of the future, the franchise. They got DeAndre Hopkins. They brought in a couple guys that didn't rework that offense after it fell short last season and missed out on the postseason. So they really have to kind of pick up the pieces where they kind of fell flat at the end of 2020 and go against, I think, an opponent that's going to give them the opportunity to do so, unless things get out of hand early on, because we know what the Tennessee Titans can do and how, dangerous they are, and King Henry and his ability to run the football and take the air out of the football. If it gets down to where the Arizona Cardinals are down early, them coming back, sure, they're capable of doing it, but I don't like their chances if they do. But I do like the matchup. I mean, if you're looking at any of the former playoff teams from last season, I think the Arizona Cardinals do match up well against Tennessee. I think they do. But, that could also be, everybody has a game plan until you get punched in the mouth. What Mike Tyson said that one, right?
That's right.
Derrick Henry has the absolute ability to punch anybody in the mouth. So the Arizona Cardinals, I think their defense is good enough to get a couple stops against this new look offense of the Titans. And then if they can get it going on the offensive side of the football, if Kyler Murray can take that leap and show that he's going to do so in game one of his third season, kind of like Josh Allen, it's going to be big for this team. But if they fall flat, there's going to be a lot of finger pointing at the head coach and his inability as a play caller. And Kyler Murray, I don't think people jump on Kyler as hard early. Okay. But they'll start to maybe trend a different direction than the last 2 years. He had a great year last year, but, he wasn't the same quarterback at the end of the year that he was at the beginning.
Facts, no paper. Agreed.
Yep.
Agreed.
Right.
So, Jacques, hearing Bo and his breakdown, it's a great breakdown, by the way, of Arizona. For those, the Titan fans that are listening, again, we don't play Arizona often at all. They're not in our division, nor are we close to them, right? But so maybe to give you an idea of what we're going to face. So, Jacques, talk about them Titans, man, as far as us and how we match up and how we could beat the Arizona Cardinals.
So, as Bo mentioned, our new look defense, right? We had a lot of turnover in our defense, and we know we had turnovers in the secondary. And a little bit on that defensive line. We brought in Bud Dupree, Danico Autry. Even in the secondary, you got Amani Hooker, who is taking Vaccaro's spot, who Hooker played very well last year. The thing about the defense is what they did in the preseason, it took that same energy. Can they transition that to game 1 against the Cardinals? What I've seen in the preseason, I like it. The thing is we have to get going early, especially say if Arizona gets on offense first. That's going to be a huge test for our defense because we know Kyler Murray, he's a scrambler. He can go. He can throw. He can throw. First of all, I've heard people compare him to Lamar Jackson. I would look at this comparison. I'm like, but the ability to scramble and throw is what he has. He's very dangerous. Can our defense stop that? Does our defense have enough pass rush to the point where we can stop that? And that's going to be the biggest test coming into this game. Our offense, I'm not gonna lie, people. Our offense can be a little rusty coming out the gate because we all they haven't practiced together. They haven't played together in the preseason together either. So we know COVID. Well, C19. Let me say that for YouTube. C19. We're coming off of where Ryan Tannehill was on the COVID list. So with that, he's coming back. He's practicing. He's trying to get continuity with Julio. So that's going to be a struggle too. But a big but. If you can come out and you can get Henry going early. And that's going to open up that play action. That's what we do best on our offense. Defense has to get pressure on Kyler Murray. You got to get him running the sideline to sideline because you get him going sideline to sideline, then you can contain him, have him beat you with his arm, not his legs, okay? I know that you guys lost Kenyon Drake, which to me, I feel like that was a huge loss for you guys, but you picked up Connor. And so you guys run a lot of 12 personnel. Y'all spread it a lot on offense. The Titans defense is going to either, have to play zone, play nickel to combat that. So those are ways that we can come in and we can beat the Cardinals. Is get the run game going early. That'll open up the play action. Get your receivers involved. Get everybody involved because we know the Titans are a running team, okay? But we want to change that mantra about us of being a running team and just utilize some of the weapons we have. We have too many weapons on this team, especially offense, not to open up this offense to now. Because if we don't, as Bo iterated with the Cardinals, it's going to be a lot of finger pointing. It's going to be the same thing with the Titans. They're going to look at Shane Bourne and be like, hey, what's going on? Why are we not utilizing and open up our offense? So that's the ways that we should be able to beat the Cardinals. What about you, Hawk?
There's some great points, Jacques. That's hard to follow up, man. But I'm gonna add something to it, right? It's like eating chicken with no seasoning. I'm gonna put some seasoning on top of it, man. The chicken is great. I'm gonna add to it, man. So, Jacques, I totally agree with everything you said. So Arizona's going to try to do their best to stop the King, 22, right? They're going to try to stack the box like all teams. And from the film that I saw of last season, again, I'm going to preface by saying last season, I know it's a different year. You got different players like J.J. Watt. You got Xavier Collins, the rookie linebacker. I get that, right? But you can run on Arizona, okay? You can. When I looked at film, even the Rams game, that's the last one I looked at, Henderson was running crazy. Cam Akers was running crazy, right? For some reason, the Arizona Cardinals on defense likes to spread out on defense. Like, they are a speedy defense. They're not a big defense, a big, strong defense. And I think maybe that's why they brought a big linebacker like Xavier Collins because, I think in a lot of ways, when you look at the linebacker last year, the rookie, Isaiah Simmons, I think he had a disappointing rookie year. I don't know if Arizona fans feel the same way. He got a little bit better towards the end of the year. He's not really a run-stopping linebacker. He's more of a speed linebacker. Now, if we were a pure passing team, Arizona would be a challenge for us. They're not a run-stopping team. So I think Derrick Henry can go off, okay? I really think that. Now, if they do set this up to where they can stop the run, I still think we can win in passing the football because I think the weakest part of the Arizona's defense are their corners, okay? Now, I like Budda Baker at safety. I think he's a heck of a player. He's a rough and tough guy. He's, a hole filler and everything. When I look at Byron Murphy, I look at Robert Alford. I look at Robert Alford when, he played with the Atlanta Falcons. Hey, when we played Atlanta, we challenged him. Okay. And I think vertically with AJ Brown, with Julio Jones, I think we can challenge them on the outside. So it's pick your poison. Jacques, you say that a lot, right? It's more like, okay, if you want to stop the King, cool. Okay. Now let's see if you can stop the passing game. And I think Arizona, I think offensively Arizona can definitely throw the football. D-Hop, when he sees Tennessee, he licks his chops. But he's like, every time he plays Tennessee, he's going to score a touchdown. And I told y'all, he's going to score a touchdown. Kyler Murray's going to have probably a decent game running the football. and throwing the ball. Like you said, he's a much better thrower than Lamar Jackson, no question about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the offense is going to do their thing on Arizona. I think they'll do okay. But can Arizona stop us? That's the problem. Can they outscore us? And I don't see that. I don't. They got to stop this guy. Looking at the film, their run defense, average, below average.
For sure. And I think you're right. Zaven Collins, I think that's, they didn't primarily draft him to stop game one, right? They didn't bring in a run stopper just for one game, but they wanted to improve in that area. They decided to go with Zaven Collins over a cornerback who was on the board, Caleb Farley, and they must have been too concerned with the medicals. I'd be interested to hear your guys' thoughts on the first round pick out of Virginia Tech after he got the back surgery, but he's an absolutely just tool shed. I mean, 6'2", sub 4, 340, just an absolute beast at Virginia Tech. But I think that Zaven Collins is going to help supplement where they kind of fell short last season as far as slowing down the run. I mean, they're not going to stop the run. They just need to slow it down relative to King Henry. I saw like in losses, he rushes around 75 yards a game, and that's not that bad,
no, it's not.
But
right.
In wins, it's 115. So like you just can't let him be a runaway train come Sunday.
Yeah,
right. And to answer your question about Caleb, Bo, from what we've observed and what we've seen in training camp and what we've seen in a couple of preseason games, he has work to do. He does have rust because he hasn't played football in almost a year, going on 2. So it's a lot of wait and see and him getting used to the speed of the game. So luckily we have Jack Rabbit Jenkins and Christian Fultz and Molden and Jackson to at least pick up that slack for him. But we're eventually going to need him to say, hey, Caleb, it's time to wake up. Let's go out here and play. Let's do what we got to do. So definitely.
Yeah. And Caleb, took the spot of Malcolm Butler, who played very shortly for the Cardinals, who retired.
Revenge game. We're not getting a Malcolm Butler revenge game.
I know it.
What happened?
Man. He retired, so he can't give you all the plays, and then next game he'll come back, man. That's what that was, man.
Exactly. It is interesting. The defensive coordinator, Vance Joseph, said today, or as we record this on Thursday, they said, what's the Malcolm Butler? Could he come back? He said, we'll see. So I don't know. I guess they're leaving the door open.
Okay.
I would say that would be an upgrade to you guys' secondary because he was, and me and Hawk talk about this all the time. He was our best defensive player last year. Him, Tierra Tart, and I want to say Amani Hooker. And I mean, he's a feisty corner that, and you've seen him when he played for the Patriots, but you guys are getting a feisty corner that's going to play every down. If he come out of retirement, he's going to play every down. He's going to play hard. People will pick on him. Teams will pick on him. But if you continue to pick on him, he's going to make you pay. So that's what I actually liked about Malcolm. So, Bo, I'm going to come to you. Now, we know we have the game Sunday, and we know there's always an impact player that can affect the game, that can either, win the game or lose the game. Give us an impact player or a player that you think in this game for the Cardinals that's going to be that key factor to either win the game or lose the game.
I mean, let's exclude Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, because, I mean, those are two guys that can eat, and they could win or lose still. I mean, but it's going to take the guys around them that's going to be important. The offensive line, they reworked it. They got a guy in Rodney Hudson who was a perennial Pro Bowl center from Vegas. He comes over. I think he's going to really calm things down and solidify that offensive line. And against this pass rush, we'll see how that reworked pass rush looks. But I think the Arizona Cardinals can create some clean pockets potentially for Kyler Murray. And then you look at the guys opposite DeAndre Hopkins, and that includes the run game. There's a lot of questions about this run game. As you mentioned, Kenyon Drake's now playing for the Raiders. He signs a 2-year deal there to go, play in Sin City. So it's Chase Edmonds' job to be RB1. And it's not, a role that anybody envisioned for kind of a smaller statured running back. He's quick. He can catch the football. He can do everything you want. But can he get in there and can he get 20 touches a game? And then also when you're sitting on a lead, can he be a guy that you can rely upon, put the game away? You can't rely on James Conner really for anything. He's played 10, 13 games respectively the last 2 seasons. So it's going to be interesting to see if the run game can help him out. Kyler obviously adds to that. And then AJ Green. Can AJ Green be this guy, this resurgence that we've been reading about on Twitter? It's Louis Riddick from Monday Night Football saying, hey, this looks like 2015 AJ Green. It's like everybody looks great in shorts, man. Right. Everybody looks great in shorts. It depends on how you look out on the playing field and in pads. So we'll see. I'm kind of got my reservations about that. Like only Larry Fitzgerald's really had a career resurgence at 32 years old. You know, he was able to have 100+ catches after a down year and then kind of create, you know, this new career. And then Rondale Moore. This is a rookie 2nd-round pick out of Purdue. Look out for number 4 on the field. I mean, not only is he quick, but he likes to deliver some boom, and it might be to his own, you know, detriment because he's not a big dude. I mean, we see the YouTube videos or the social media videos of him squatting 600 pounds. He's just a playmaker. He's speedy, and he could help this offense when they've been looking desperately for somebody opposite DeAndre Hopkins all last season. And then Christian Kirk, you know, we know what he is. He's a big play wide receiver. He's kind of feast or famine. And then Andy Isabella is a guy. Don't even worry about him. He's a bust. He's a bust. But the offense, that's it. And then on the other side, you know, Budda Baker, tackling machine. He's a guy that kind of turned himself into a ball hawk after not having any picks in his career up until last year. You know, he gets the infamous pick in front of DK Metcalf, and then he chases him down. Right. We all saw that video on Sunday Night Football. Budda Baker's just one of the best safeties in football. He can make a big play. And then you talk about the secondary. They need Byron Murphy to step up. Another UW guy, another Washington guy. And in his 3rd year, I really believe like the fan base's perception of this secondary is way different when the front office is. I think the front office is more confident, and that might be naive, but they'd like Byron Murphy to take a big jump and kind of be that CB1 in the absence of Malcolm Butler. And of course, be the successor to Patrick Peterson, who played at a high level for so many years, who left via free agency.
Yeah. Nice. And speak of Moore from Purdue, when we were doing our draft, we do our draft show every year, and I scouted him, and he's a beast. He's a beast. Yeah. That kid is something else. I liked his skill set coming out of college, but I wish the Titans would have drafted him. And then Byron Murphy as well too. Watching him come in and how he played at Washington. Was he a 1st or 2nd round pick?
2nd round pick. He was the first pick of the 2nd round. Okay. That was when they had the terrible 2018 season. That was the Kyler Murray draft. So they went Kyler 1-1, and then they went Byron Murphy 2-1.
Okay. Cool. Okay. I liked him coming out of Washington. I like this skill. Like Washington tends to produce good DBs from Budda Baker to Sidney Jones to Murphy to Molden. So Washington produced some quality, man. I like it. So I'm gonna flip the question to Hawk, and I'm gonna ask you, Hawk.
Yeah.
Titans players that can provide an impact for us to either win or lose this game. It can be 1 player, 2 players. Bo gave us a whole stack. So
hey, talk to us, Hawk. Great breakdown. I'm sitting there learning and listening, you know, about the Arizona Cardinals. You know, I've seen a lot of film, watched them on television, but, you know, that breakdown that was steady. So, of course, Arizona fans in the world knows about 22. Okay, the king. We know about that. And just like you said about D-Hop, you know, Kyler Murray, that's a given. So we're gonna push that to the side. We know about this guy. We know about him. Okay. So for those that don't watch Titan games in Arizona land, there's one guy named Arthur Juan Brown. Get to know this guy, okay? That's A.J. Brown. Now, right now, he is nursing a knee injury. So I am concerned because he hadn't practiced all week. So my fingers are crossed. But A.J. Brown does that every season. He'll miss all practice and come out game and just act a clown. So you speak on Byron Murphy, right? He's going to have to step up because A.J. Brown is ready, okay? A.J. Brown is ready. Robert Alford better be ready, okay? Again, I feel the weaknesses of the Cardinals are their defensive backs. Not so much Budda Baker, more of their corners. And, you know, Jalen Thompson, he's okay. The other safety, he's all right. He's okay. Nothing, you know, ride home about, I guess. But I would say, if anything, on the outside, I think that Arizona's going to do all they can to stop Derrick Henry. And I still don't think that can happen, to be honest with you. But even if he's at under 100 yards rushing, you know, they're still going to have to deal with the outside. And so it's pick your poison. And Arthur Juan Brown, A.J. Brown, you're going to have Julio out there, Julio Jones, that's going to take some coverage off of A.J. Brown. Because before Julio was here, it was just going to be A.J. Brown, and, he'd be double team, triple team. Now it's more like, okay, if you want to double team A.J. Brown, best believe Julio Jones is coming on the other side. So I think Arizona's biggest concern that they should look out for is A.J. Brown on offense. Now on defense, look out for Kevin Byard, man, okay? Kyler Murray, when I looked at Arizona's offense, let me tell you one thing that I noticed from Arizona. They like to spread the ball out evenly, as well as the routes that they run a lot of curl routes. Either on the outside, they run curl, they'll run curls on the inside, on the outside, they run a lot of fade and go routes, like on like every offensive play. Or all 4 receivers will run curls. So for Kevin Byard, that works great for him in space, okay? Because Kevin Byard, in space, he catches a lot of interceptions. Now, I will say Kevin Byard did not have a good season last year, but he's looking to redeem himself. He is the unbound leader. He's the captain of the team on defense. Look out. If you don't know about number 31, Kevin Byard, check him out. Watch him. He's going to be ready. That's just my opinion, man. So, Jacques, talk to me, brother.
So, impact players, Bo,
Yes.
great breakdown. Hawk, great breakdown. I don't know how I'm going to follow with that, but hey, I'm going to do my best. So, for me on offense, man, you took it, Hawk. I mean, for me, impact players, Ferkser, tight end. Okay. The thing about Ferkser and the thing about, I feel like Arizona's defense, they're going to try their best. I mean, any defense is going to try their best to stop either your run game or your pass game, which is going to be hard. It's going to be a difficult task. Van Joseph is going to have, I bet he's at home now trying to figure out, okay, how do I stop this offense? How do I stop this? I mean, it's defense. How do I stop this offense? Excuse me. How do I stop this offense? Do I need to put Buddha here? Do I need to move Buddha around? Do I need to do this? What they're not equating for is Ferkser. Ferkser is your weapon where you can use him when if AJ gets locked up or if they're double teaming Julio, which I don't see how they're going to do, or if the King is somehow just not functioning at the proper moment. You utilize your tight ends and your slot receiver. We know we have Chester Rogers in the slot right now, starting over
Josh Reynolds.
Josh Reynolds. He's starting over Josh Reynolds right now. That's kind of weird because we brought Josh Reynolds in to be our slot. So
who used to torch the Cardinals, by the way, with the Rams.
with the Rams.
Yeah.
So when I look at this, I'm like, if I'm going to look at impact players, we know what Julio, we know what AJ can do, we know what Henry can do. Hell, you even know what Tannehill can do because Tannehill does have wheels and he can take off at any time. But passing-wise, Chester Rogers and Ferkser is your impact players because they can be those players that you're not really checking for. If I'm scheming, I'm not checking for Ferkser. I'm not checking for Chester Rogers. 22, 2, and 11. That's who we're focused on. That's our focal point. Yeah. So I see that. Now on defense, I feel like impact players are going to come from either Bud Dupree or Harold Landry. Okay?
Tell them, Jacques.
These two haven't played in the preseason at all. They've practiced. Every defensive player that we've had so far has played in the preseason. They have some type of snap, but those two haven't. Landry has mentioned that he has added more pass rush to his arsenal, extra things that he's doing to become great because he has competition. Bud Dupree is on a 5-year, $80 million deal, $85 million deal, whatever it is. He has, like you said, we did a show where Hawk was like, hey, he has to have 10 sacks this year to start equating for that. So I feel like those are your impact players on the outside where, hey, rushing the passer, getting on the outside to contain Murray, because like I said, you want to keep him sideline to sideline. You don't want him going north and south, because if he does, it's going to be a long day for our defense. It's literally going to be a long day. If you can contain that, it's very important for those two. So those are my impact players for on offense and defense.
Interesting. So speaking of that, so we speak upon our teams, right? As far as who we feel on our team will be the threat. So, Bo, I have a question for you. I'm not sure how much you've studied of the Titans, or anything of that nature, but is there one player on the Tennessee Titans that you have some concerns about?
It's the quarterback. It's Ryan Tannehill, because when you get that play action going, I mean, he's lethal. He really is. He's one of the best in the league. He's kind of been that reclamation project. I mean, he goes from Miami being a cast off to being the comeback player of the year. And then he just balled out last year. Was it 33 touchdowns, 7 picks, and just really finding a system that fits him in his skill set the best. And as Jock said, he utilizes that athleticism. There's the funny thing they bring up every single game, how he played wide receiver in college, but that's nothing to kind of turn your nose up. I mean, that's right. That's you play D1 as a wide receiver, Texas A&M, you're a good athlete. So, I think I think that, his ability, he's not a pinpoint passer, but he doesn't have to be with that run game. And with wide receivers like he has in Brown and Julio Jones, if he goes off, if he's a guy that somehow, if they can bottle up Henry, and then you got Ryan Tannehill that goes off and throws for 300 yards, you're still going to take the L. So, it's going to be, he's kind of the guy that you sleep on when you look at this Tennessee Titan thing, because you rarely ever sleep on anybody's quarterback in this league. It's a passing league. That's right. But in this situation, when you have a guy who's run for 2,000 plus yards at every single level he's ever played at high school, college, and NFL, you sometimes will sleep on that signal collar. That's right. I would wear that jersey proudly.
Absolutely.
Number 22.
22, the king. Yes.
What about you guys? Anybody on the Cardinals that you're concerned about?
Go for it, Jacques.
Okay. So for me, it's Kyler. And like you said, you don't know what you're going to get out of Kyler. You like you said, I don't know if fans are looking for him to take that next leap. Is it going to be the Josh Allen effect?
Right.
Or is he going to digress? And my concern in this game is with our defense, we know how terrible we were last year. We know that. We were like bottom of the league. And trying to contain a mobile quarterback, sometimes we have issues. Last year, which cost us the playoffs, actually, because of Lamar.
Facts, no paper.
It was a 20-yard run, and he scored. But Kyler, for me, my concern is him getting loose because he can throw on the run, too. He buys time. He can sit there and buy time where his receivers get open. So that is my concern. If you can contain Kyler, you can contain that offense because, hey, you get pressure on him. And I know that he had a lot. I think he had the most batted balls down. I think Arizona had the most batted. Kyler had the most batted balls down last year out of any team of last year. So with him being short, that's important too. Is getting those balls down, batting those balls, getting a hand on him because he doesn't go down on the first initial contact. He doesn't go down. You have to make sure you hold him and get him down. And he's small. We know if you've ever played football or even watching football. You're more short, shifty, small guys are some of your hardest guys to literally tackle. So for me, that's who I'm concerned about. What about you, Hawk?
He wears number 55, and he has two last names as a name, Chandler Jones. Okay, this guy here is going against I don't know who at right tackle. We still don't have a depth. We still don't know who's going to be the starting right tackle on our depth chart. Chandler Jones. It's going to be a problem. We better do something. Or he's going to have a field day on that left end. So I know they have J.J. Watt. We know about J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt's, getting a little bit long in the tooth. But Chandler Jones is a guy who's always caused problems in New England and even with Arizona. He is my concern. Can we block him? Can we make sure that he doesn't go wild on the defense? It's Chandler Jones. Not so much running on the defense. It's more when we're having to pass the ball, which we're going to have to do because Arizona's going to try to do their best to stop the king. It's Chandler Jones. That's who I feel that we got to look out for. Definitely.
I agree.
Yep.
Chandler can eat you up, and that's the scary part about that. Like you said, our right tackle position, we don't know who's starting, so that's going to be interesting. With this season, the 2021 season, we have what we call expectations. And Bo, what is your expectations for the Cardinals this year? Is it playoffs? Is it Super Bowl? Talk to us.
It's for the first time in a long time, there are expectations. Last year, 2019 actually was okay. They made the unique decision to move off of a first-round pick in Josh Rosen just a year later. They just ripped the franchise encyclopedia 2018 season out of it, right? Those pages are gone. No Steve Wilkes, no Josh Rosen. They decided to go with Kyler Murray, Cliff Kingsbury. First season was, do these guys belong? And they kind of showed enough with a 5-win season that they did. They go out and they get DeAndre Hopkins last year, and then they kind of show up. They go 6-3. They have the most total yards in the NFL at that point on offense at 6-3, and they've arrived ahead of schedule. And then somehow they disappoint and they go 8-8, and they are on the outside looking into the postseason. So now, I think Kyler Murray showed that he could take a jump with 37 total touchdowns last year, 11 of those on the ground. He is obviously a franchise quarterback. Can Cliff Kingsbury match that with the play calling? He's got to show that he belongs. He's got to show that game one of the regular season against this defense that, Tennessee's putting a lot of faith in. I understand, but, Cliff Kingsbury's got to show that he's ahead of the schedule and he's got the X's and O's dialed in. So it's going to be on Cliff Kingsbury, and they have to take the next step. Like, it's easy to win more than 3 games what they did in 2018. They won 5. It's easy to get better and improve on that. They won 8 last year. Now you kind of figure out who everybody is. And if Cliff Kingsbury, if he's the guy, they've got to take a leap. They've got to kind of push their way in the postseason. They've got to beat some teams that nobody expects them to beat. That starts this week. And then they've never beat Sean McVay. They haven't beat McVay and the Rams since the Obama administration. It's been that long. So, they got to change a couple narratives that people are pretty dug in on. And the Cardinals can't really say anything until they start doing that themselves and proving it on the field. So it's going to come down. Yeah, there are playoff expectations, and if they don't make it, heads are going to roll. And I don't know if it's, Kingsbury at the head coach position. Steve Keim, the general manager, has been there since 2013, and he had a lot of success with Bruce Arians, but he hasn't had a ton since. And then you got to take advantage of having your franchise quarterback, keeping him happy. I'm not saying like Kyler's going to go play baseball or anything. Nobody's going to go ride the bus over making $40 million a year at a playing quarterback. So, but, he could go force his way out. It could be a Deshaun Watson as far as, him not being happy as far as the way things are going on the field and with the organization, not the other stuff. He could want to force his way out if things don't continue to progress in the right direction.
Right. Hey, great breakdown. So we know the game Sunday, and Bo, I'm coming to you again. Final score.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was looking at it. It seems like 30 is the magic number, and we're looking at if you're betting guys. The total is 52. In the last couple of years, Tennessee's 15-1 when scoring 30 plus points. The Cardinals are 8-1. I think first team to 30 probably has a pretty good opportunity to win this game. I think the Arizona Cardinals, if they can come out quick and they can somehow find some sort of rush game with Chase Edmonds and put the game away a little bit down the road, or in the second half, I really think they have a good chance of winning this one. I'm going to say 31-24. It's going to be a shootout. It's going to be a high scoring, but these defenses haven't told me anything this offseason. There's just a lot that has to go right for these defenses. You'll see some picks, you'll see some sacks, but at the same time, there's going to be a lot of offensive football in this game.
Okay, so you take Arizona. Okay, nice.
Taking the Cards.
Guys, Hulk, talk to us. Who you got?
33 Tennessee. That rhymes. 28 Cardinals. That doesn't rhyme, but the score goes pretty handy here. So I think Tennessee will do enough on offense to score. I do think Arizona will have some success with D-Hop, Kyler Murray scoring some points. I do believe that. And I think it's going to take the defense some time to gel to kind of get to understand each other. It's a new defense, new everything. But I just don't see Arizona stopping us, man, on offense. I think we're going to be efficient running and passing the football. So I'm saying 33 Tennessee, 28 Arizona. You, Jacques.
Okay, for me, we know Tennessee is a second half team, okay? We know we get started slow in the first half, and I feel like that's going to happen where Arizona might get the best of us early. It's fine, but I feel like there will be adjustments made on both sides of the ball, and I feel like the final score on my end will be 35-24 Titans. So, hey, like you said, the first team to 30, hey, you better get it fast. So.
That's right. Get it quick. So, ladies and gentlemen, that ends the show, folks. As always, thank you for tuning in to our show. We also want to say thank you to Bo Brack. Check him out. Y'all locked in on Arizona Cardinals. Bo, any parting words you want to say, man?
No, I'm pumped that football is here. We've got one game in the books and then a full slate on Sunday, one game Monday. It's here, guys. I mean, It's not until February. We probably won't see our families any longer, but it's okay. It's all right. We'll reintroduce ourselves and they'll forgive us down the road. But no, I'm just so excited. This season's here. 2 franchises with a lot of fun expectations, great rosters, and hopefully it's a fun one come Sunday.
That's right. So if you want to check them out again, check them out on Apple, check them out on Spotify, as well as on YouTube. The links will be provided for us as well. You can check us out, of course, here on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to both channels, as well on Apple. Check our Apple podcast, Tennessee Titans Weekly, as well on Spotify, as well on Instagram at Tennessee Titans Weekly, and on Twitter at Titans Weekly 24/7.
And like I say every show, like Hawk said, hey, Bo, we really appreciate you coming on the show, giving you analysis on the Arizona Cardinals. Like Hawk said, I learned something today, so this is pretty awesome. If we ever play again, we got to do this again.
Absolutely.
Very fun. But, hey, like I tell everybody, like Hawk said, share the show. Cut your notification bells on when you go to subscribe. That way it'll notify you when we go live, when we post any content. And like you said, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts. And, hey, football's back, people. Sunday, let's go. And take us home, Hawk.
As we always say, folks, to you and yours, all day, every day. Facts!
No paper!